Hello everyone, welcome back to Marion County Espresso TV. I'm your host Steve Woodhouse, and today my guest is Brittany Cheddar. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, cheddar. The T and the S is silent, so cheddar.
Cheddar, yeah. Like the cheese.
Like the cheese, just like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Brittany, you're very active in Pella. You have the Cheddar Puppy Academy and various other things. But today we're talking about the Miss Veterans America pageant. Can you tell me more about that?
So first off, it's not a pageant. It's an actual competition between other women veterans like myself. So what it kind of all comes down to is it is in support of Final Salute, really. Final Salute is a nonprofit organization that helps women, veterans like myself that are maybe homeless, or they're having a little bit of trouble transitioning from probably the military life to civilian life, and they're just needing a little bit of help with getting some resources for like clothing or employment options, things like that, a little bit of education. A lot of them are what we call like couch sitters. So a lot of the VA funding and a lot of like other resources actually don't consider them homeless, because a lot of women veterans, believe it or not, they're single mothers. So they're trying to shuffle their kids around, and a lot of them you won't find in the shelters, you won't find asking for these resources, just because they are they don't qualify for them because they're not actually sleeping on the streets. And like I said, many of them don't because they have their children with them. So Jess Booth is the one that founded this incorporation, this nonprofit organization. And she came in and she said, hey, I want to figure out how I can support these women in this specific area. And believe it or not, it's the fastest growing homeless sector that's out there is women veterans. So she came together and she decided to start this organization that is developing this transitional housing, this employment. She's also, it's called Next Uniform. So that is what is really that transitional period from military to civilian life. And so she's trying to catch them early. She's trying to help with these resources, which is really cool. So that is kind of what I'm doing. I'm out, and Miss Veterans America is just gathering all of the women veterans that are interested in being an advocate for Final Salute. And we're coming together, we're building a sisterhood basically. And what we're trying to do is just show that we're amazing, that women behind the uniform, we're so much more, and our needs are different than what a male veteran is. And a lot of times the resources that are out there just don't fit us. So that's what we're doing. So
tell me a little bit about your service.
So I joined the military in July of 2010. Most of my service was a reserve component of that, because I was a single mother too until I married Jared. And so I was stationed right there in New Boston, Texas at Red River Army Depot, and worked there as a 42 Alpha, which is human resources, contracts, admin stuff. I deployed in 2015, 2016 to Jordan, where I worked there for a year, doing some different things like contracts and admin work with a team. And then I medically retired out in 2018. So that's kind of my background a little bit.
And that's kind of what brought you to Pella, was you met Jared and moved back.
Yeah, I met Jared when we were, right before we deployed, I met him, and we got to know each other. And actually when we deployed, we didn't stay in the same country. He was in Egypt and Iraq and went to Kuwait some, and then I was back and forth between Jordan and Kuwait myself. So we met each other for a little bit, and then we deployed and we didn't see each other. Then we came back, and we decided that we wanted to move our relationship further. So then we got married in 2017, and I've been living in Pella ever since. And that's kind of what started the dogs for me a little bit, is that when I was deployed, I got hurt. And when I came back and was getting my medical attention and things like this, the doctor said, I think you would benefit from a service dog. I really think you would. So as I was going through the process of doing this service dog, I realized how difficult and how challenging it was to find the resources, get the dog, figure out how to get him trained and this and that. And so Jared and I decided, hey, how about you go to school, more school, and to, learn how to train dogs. And I said, oh, this would be really great for us to open up a puppy school academy and start training dogs and start giving back to veterans. And that's what we've been doing for the last, I would say that I've been training dogs since 2018, 2019. Officially opened the company in 2019. I originally started at my house. And what I would do is buy litters of dogs from breeders that I partnered with, and I trained them until they were about 6 months. And then I sold them off as trained dogs to people that needed them. And then we decided that our model needed to change, that I wanted to interact more with the person, and I wanted to be able to build companionship a little differently. So then we started finding a place here in Pella, and someone gave me a tip to go bug Rick Boat. So Rick, I just emailed Rick and I said, hey, this is what I would like to do. Can you help me out with space? And he said, you bet. So he got me all fixed up in that building, and we've been running ever since, and it's been so great. We've jumped into doing fundraisers with the Puri Bazaar and donating dogs there, which is kind of dual effort there. So when we train the dog, we train it in the aspect of maybe a veteran will pop up and get the dog for a lower cost than what a service dog would be. And then the money goes straight to Puri for the students there for tuition and trips and things like that. And that has worked out several years so far. So, and then we take dogs to the university. So I'm a professor. I teach business at William Penn during the school year. And we started, me and the mental health coordinator, we started this Pause for Pause. You've probably seen that on my page a little bit. So we take therapy dogs into the community there, and it's been really, really a nice thing for the students. So we're all about community engagement. And that's how Miss Veterans kind of came up for me, is that Jared and I were trying to figure out our next step or the next thing that we wanted to do. And I came across Miss Veterans from another female of mine that I actually went to basic training with. And she said, Kaylee, saying, hey, Britt, have you heard of Miss Veterans America? And I said, no, I haven't. And she said, you need to check this out. You should do this. And I said, okay, let's do it. And so I started digging into it. And at first I had to write a bunch of stuff and submit it in. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get selected. And then it was just like almost within 24, 48 hours, I got an email from Master Sergeant Gordon, and she said, hey, you've became a semifinalist. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so shocked. And so then that really started and jump-started the process. And I've been out advocating. I've been walking around businesses, handing out brochures that I made. We've been on Facebook. We have been talking to other people. I actually went to a conference this last week for entrepreneurial stuff, but I ended up advocating for these women there and talking to other entrepreneurs and gathering ideas of like what we could do for this particular sector. And it was quite amazing at the ideas that I was able to capture from them and try to implement into this campaign that I'm trying to run. So it was really exciting.
So what does it mean to be a semifinalist? I mean, is that based on the amount you've been able to raise, or how did you achieve that?
No, so that is based off of, I wrote a paper about myself, and then I had to submit a bunch of documents, my military documents and things like that. So it's more like kind of like an interview type based, and they just found me a good fit. I had to answer some questions, I had to write a paper, I had to talk with the director of Miss Veterans, and then they decide. And then what happens now is at the end of this month, so I have to submit my talent, which my talent, all the girls' talent is a lip sync and a dance. And so I've been working on that for this last couple of weeks. And so I will submit that the 24th. And then at the end of the month, I will have an interview with 5 judges and on Zoom virtually. And then based off of how I answer the questions and how my talent went and a couple of other key things with my military background, they will decide whether or not I'm a good fit to move on to the finals. And I honestly could not tell you exactly what will happen during the finals. It's not disclosed because they don't want us to work on it early.
Yeah.
So they're trying to give the girls the same amount of time to work on things as they move through the process. But it's been exciting. It really has been exciting. The amount of women veterans that I've been able to connect with just by being involved in this has been astronomical.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been life-changing again. They say when you go to basic and you go to your A school that you make lifelong friends. Well, I feel like every time I touch something in the military or belong to a different group or go meet up with the guys at the Legion or the VFW, those are friends that I'm meeting for a lifetime. It's so interesting to me that how military people, we really stick together. We really are glue, and we support one another with anything that we have. So it's been really an amazing experience.
And so how do you meet these other female veterans?
Yeah, very good. It's a great question. So one of the things that I had to do for this competition is I had to open up 3 social media pages. I had to do Facebook, I had to do Instagram, and I had to do Twitter or X. And so one of the things that I have to do is I have to be able to fundraise and advocate. And it's not really based off of the dollar amount, it's the efforts that you put into it. So one of the things that she likes us to do on our social media pages is talk about women, specifically a history and the veterans and some of the things that they have accomplished. And then we are also tagged with trying to go out and find other women veterans that could join Miss Veteran America or could help with the cause. And so that's kind of how I've connected with them, honestly. There's a couple of veterans that have found out that we are also contestants, and then they have developed a separate group for that, and then we just joined that. And then from there, we have collaborated together to do some fundraising stuff and to talk about ideas about what we could do. But really, that's kind of how we've been connecting, is through social media.
What are some of the fundraisers you guys have tried to raise the money for these fellow veterans?
So as far as myself, how I've done it is I have the first fundraiser I did is I just said pause for the cause, and I am trying to get people to donate just $10. So my philosophy behind it was, let's give up a cup of coffee, or let's give up our favorite treat for the day and let's donate it towards the women that are needing this help. Actually, it only takes $25, I don't know if you know this, $25 for a female to be able to have housing for the day. Through this program, just $25. And so what I was trying to do was say, hey, could you, I know that discretionary money for a lot of people right now is really low, just because our economy has been going through it. But what I was hoping is that people would say, okay, I'm going to skip coffee today for my women hero, and I'm going to support them when they need us the most, because they're battling this fight of not feeling safe and not feeling like they have anywhere to settle. They've been down in the dirt, they've been fighting, they've left their families, they've been doing all this stuff, and they're single mothers, most of them. And I, as a single mom that's been there before, it's really hard. And it's especially hard when you come back from a deployment, because not only do we have to connect back into the civilization, but we have to connect back with our kids and all that time we've missed with them. And that is really, really difficult for a mother. So I said, hey, can you give $10? And I raised over $400 that way so far. So I'm really grateful for everybody that has donated so far. And then the second fundraiser is actually happening tonight, and I'm so excited about this. So this is the first time ever that Cheddar's is going to be launching a playtime in the evening with trainers and puppy friends. And so Jared and I decided that everyone that comes through the door today, all of their money that they have been spending with us will be donated. So we're asking $20 for 4 hours of playtime from 5 until 9, and they have the option of donating more if they would like to. So, and all of that is going to go towards Final Salute.
So why is it so difficult for women to get back in touch with society and everything after the deployment? What do you think is the root cause of that?
I think a lot of them go through a little bit of trauma, or I think that education plays a part in that. I think also it's just a little bit more challenging because we do have kids on our hip a lot of times. And so when we come back, finding jobs is really hard. I mean, women are now dominating the workforce, but it's not because it's been easy. It's because we have been rising to the challenge. We have been getting ourselves educated. I know even for myself, I have a lot of tons and tons of education, and I still find myself still not making the financial mark that my husband can make, even though I absolutely have more education than him, and I have a lot of a lot of experience and things in what I do, but it's just challenging. Women, we go through different things when we deploy. I think our mindset changes. I think that we, one way or the other, experience some kind of trauma, and that could be just separation from our family. It could be separation from our kids. It could be that, the harsh environment. I think it affects us differently than it would the average, male component. Our needs are different too, just as far as like our care, I think is different. And a lot of the programs that are out for veterans, they are getting better. I will tell you that they are getting better. Good. And every year they are getting better for like mental health. They're getting better for education purposes for women. And so I am glad to see that improvement, but it still has gaps, I would say, as far as like even the programs for our children, that would be different. So if you have a single mother that's trying to get in some transitional housing, they may offer the housing to her, but do they offer it for the children? Probably not. And so some of it and some of it not. I don't actually.
That seems wrong. We should protect kids first.
I think so too. But a lot of the programs is just for the veteran. But like I said, I think they're getting better. I do. I think that the VA is trying to get better with supporting those women. But again, it goes back, if they're couch sitters, they're not really considered, if they're like house hopping between friends and family and so forth, they're really not considered homeless, so then they don't meet the mark. Yeah. And so what Ms. Booth wanted to do was fill that gap, and that's what Final Salute does. It makes them qualified for the funding, and it makes the children of that female veteran also qualified. So there's a little bit of difference there, but yeah, I would just say it's just different. But the challenges are still there for sure. So
obviously we can help by donating, but is there anything else that we can really do to help support female veterans or all veterans?
Absolutely. I really love the three-prong approach that Final Salute has. So I like to call it the AAA. So it's just providing awareness, and that was all what my campaign has been about. I know that it's tight for everybody right now, but awareness is huge. If you are aware of the problem, then more than likely you're going to be able to share the news, and you're going to connect with the right people that can and that are able to help us in this. So awareness is what I'm doing with my campaign, number one. Then assistance is the other. So those big companies, those people that are good advocates for nonprofit organizations, or their investors, even if they're influencers, those are people that we would want to connect with. And so just that awareness, then that assistance starts coming into play, and then aspiration after that. So that is the three-prong approach for Final Salute. And so that's what we're trying to do. Really just bring in awareness. That's my number one goal. I think if I can make people aware that we are the fastest growing sector in the homeless area, in that particular, that people can stop and say, oh, wow. Just like you. Oh, wow, I had no idea that was going on. And so then it opens your eyes, and you start looking for those nonprofit organizations that help women that need it. So, yeah.
And coming back more locally, your puppy, I don't want to call it a business because you're obviously not in it just to make money. But how can we support you in that endeavor? I mean, like, is it expensive to buy those litters of puppies to train to help veterans?
Yes, it really is. What I try to do is not sell these dogs for $20,000, $30,000. I know realistically, I'm never going to get anybody to pay for that. But what I like is that if anyone can help out with like dog food or just like training gear or just putting a little bit of money towards the training cost, those are things that people can help. And I've always just told people, if you have it in your heart and you want to donate, just reach out to me, let me know that you want to donate for a veteran, and we'll get on board. And a lot of veterans, they want a dog, but the amount of money that it takes to train a dog and the amount of money that they need to set up their gear for it, it's expensive for a veteran. It really is. And a lot of times they're already going through so much that they already have a bunch of costs, or they're not working as much as they should be working. And so they don't have that extra discretionary money to go in and invest. So I like to say, if you want to do anything, we always need training gear. We always need training equipment. I bought a set of training pause tables. We train on them, and one of those tables is $200. So, and I have 10 of them. So if you can imagine, for a small business owner, that's a big cost. The training equipment that we need to just teach them to open doors and close doors and press buttons, there's specific training gear for that. And so those are things that they can help out with. But I think anything, just sponsoring a veteran is the number one thing, I think. And just letting people know that we're here. Yeah. Let them know that we are a low cost solution for helping them get back. I know that my service dog, I was kind of in bad shape between 2017 and 2018. I wasn't working as much. I was dealing with some trauma that I had from my tour, and I started working with this dog, and now this dog goes to work with me. It interacts in the public with me. I can go watch movies now. I can go to a restaurant and sit down and have a lunch or a meal with my friends and feel really good. So it's provided a lot of confidence, for myself. So.
Do you have Venmo, PayPal, Cash App? Can you take PayPal?
I do. I take everything.
List those out for us.
Yeah, so I take a credit, debit card, I take Venmo, I take cash, I take check, I take PayPal, I take all of that. So we have really opened up and tried to accept whatever anyone has, we accept it. We work with Marion County Bank. They are our bank for our company. They have been so good to me.
Good bank.
Yes, very good bank, so good. I walk in there, they've helped me with anything and everything that I needed. Like I said, I have the support of Rick Boat. He has been really supporting us in that building, and has done a great job with, if there's anything that I need, he's been there, he's done it. So I really, really would like to give a big shout out to him, because without him, I wouldn't have space. And space is what I needed, and he gave that to us. So, yeah.
And I'm sure we'll put at the end of the video here all the, we'll print out all the addresses and stuff for the PayPal and Venmo and everything. And what's the address for your Final Salute and for your business? Just to help you out.
Yeah, so as far as like the website or?
Yeah, the website, yeah.
Yeah, so people can just connect with me on Facebook. We really don't go off of our website. It's something that we were hoping that one day we could have a website developer come in and help us do that. But we're not quite there yet. Again, we're just a really small company trying to keep our costs down so we can put our money into the dogs that we do and the donations and the community back. So if you would like to connect with me, Facebook is a way to do that. It's a number one way to do that. I have links there that they can sign up for classes, or they can reach out to me. My Venmo, most of the people here in Pella, believe it or not, are already connected with me on Venmo. But I do have a QR code that I can launch on Facebook that you can connect with, and you can scan and you can donate. My PayPal is there. You can connect that way on Facebook as well. Just click it and it goes right to our business PayPal account. Or you can come in and see me. We are right across the street from Tri-County, right there with Vermeer of Iowa, right there off of Team 14 Road. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. this is really a true honor to come here and do this.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your service, especially
Yeah,
too.
thank you for that.
All right. And thank all of you for joining us.
Thanks.